Everyone, and welcome to tonight's Team Huddle Call, Solevay, powered by Relationships. My name is Stacy Wallace, and it is my absolute joy to welcome you to another week, getting closer to Christmas. I know many of you guys are hustling and bustling, and you're probably listening while you're walking or talking, and I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of your taking time out of your busy schedule to just check in and make sure you're on tap with everything that's going on Solevay. This is our one call a week where we try to bring you all the updates, the latest, the greatest. First 30 minutes is going to be updates on what's going on, and then the last little bit's going to be a training. Tonight, we are going to talk about how to launch into 2013 with absolute focus. I think we're coming into the last couple of weeks here in 2012, and I know personally I've been doing Team Huddle calls, breaking it down with my direct frontline leaders and their teams, which is often sometimes thousands of people on those teams and sometimes just hundreds. But I know that we're taking these last number of days of 2012 in order to get everyone focused, make sure that we finish strong, and really take action here in these last number of days. So tonight we're going to start off, first off, we're going to talk about what's coming up on Tuesday, tomorrow. We're actually going to have a new release of our Solevay overview presentation. We've worked really hard on making an excellent presentation for you guys, not only to be able to send people to every Tuesday, and then we're going to also put it on some automated webinars where you're going to be able to let people have multiple times throughout the week to choose from. That is a system that we're going to be releasing here very soon, along with some fantastic landing pages and giving you some free tools that are going to allow you to just take Solevay to the next level. Many of you have asked what has been working and what's been really driving the force of the thousands and thousands of people that have come into these organizations. And we certainly want to make those tools available to you. You know, it's been a real incredible blessing to see how right now, you know, I've talked to some of my top leaders and they've said, Stacy, it's amazing we've done this without a landing page. We've done this with a very simple website. You guys know Solevay.com has been extremely simple in its approach. No expenses being put out for buying ads or buying leads, and these people are just really amazed right now and humbled coming into this season. Today I had somebody send me a private message about what they're going to be using their Purple Pay card for as it relates to giving back to the community. Others who have bought thousands and thousands of dollars worth of toys for Kids for Tots, and then others that have got outreaches into orphanages and things with their church. And it truly is a blessing. Obviously, I know many of you guys have utilized Solevay for your own family expenses, and of course that is Solevay's vision is not to create a few millionaires, but to create millions of thousandaires. So tonight, you know, I want to let you know that tomorrow night you definitely want to be a part of the presentation. You want to see this full presentation that we're going to give on what is Solevay. It's going to be running every Tuesday night. And I think you're going to be very pleased with how that looks, giving you a little tidbit tonight, giving you a couple slides of it just so you can see tonight for those of you who are brand new. We want you to know what is Solevay, how Solevay has combined mobile and social to redefine commerce and basically take the same advertising dollars that right now AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, and T-Mobile are spending $12 billion in advertising. Solevay is redirecting that money back into the hands of the people, and you're going to see that Solevay is an incredible merger between those three worlds of commerce, social networking, and mobile. And what we're finding is that people are finding that in fact, recently MSNBC said that the mobile bill or mobile phone bill in the average household is the #2 bill of everything, highest bill of everything in a household, meaning next to your mortgage, it's probably the thing you pay for the highest and the most. We want to see that change. Solevay is making an incredible offer at $49 unlimited voice, text, and data, or free. And that's on a 4G nationwide network. We've partnered with T-Mobile in order to make that not only the fastest 4G network, but also to give, you know, and people don't want to give up quality in order to have an inexpensive mobile service. They don't want cheap, they want effective. And so we're very excited that Solevay is offering quality mobile service at an affordable price, $49 unlimited voice, text, and data. Another thing that's taken place is the executive team that has formed around this vision is giving Solovei an edge that's never been seen before. When we talk about, you see there the picture of John Rittenhouse at the top, former COO of Walmart, Maria Pinchevsky, Jim Ryan. These are corporate executives from Fortune 50 companies, as well as many of our board members and our investors. Sue Noakes, former COO of T-Mobile, who actually, I love her quote, she said, "This is our generation's Walmart." And when you think about that, Walmart really left an imprint. They changed the way commerce was done, and that's truly the vision behind Solovei and what Solovei wants to do. The future of Solovei basically is that we're starting with mobile, but it's not where we're hoping to end. Of course, we're looking to bring on goods and services, cable insurance, and other things of the like to be able to drive down commerce on the things you use and spend on every single day. And of course, we've been very excited just over the last number of weeks since our launch to give out $2 million. So we're not only driving down the cost of these things, but also by shifting those advertising dollars, able to put the money back into the hands of our members. $2 million already paid out, and I'm looking forward. I believe we're going to pop over that $3 million mark on our next payday here in just a few days. So very exciting in what's happening with Solovei, and hopefully you have already seen the picture, you've seen the light, and you have gotten started. If you haven't, then of course get started immediately. Tonight I'm going to speak a little bit to those of you who are members so you can be up to date with what's hot, what's going to be happening this week, some things that haven't yet been released, but I believe tomorrow we're going to have some hot release dates as well. First thing I want to do is just pop out of here instead of doing it on a screen. I like to take you guys into the actual support community so that you can see exactly where to find these things. I went into mysolovei.com. It's my.solovei.com. The best way you can do it actually is just use solovei.com as your one spot. I call it your one-stop shop. So if you go to solovei.com, for those of you who are members, just log in, use your username and password, and it'll automatically take you to your dashboard, which is my.solovei.com. And you'll be able to see on the right-hand side here, you'll be able to see what's hot, what's going on. You can see we've got a number of things here. Let's just look first off. For those of you who did not know it, we've got a hot holiday smartphone sale, meaning that you're actually getting, you will get started between now and December 31st. You are not only going to get that free first month of mobile service. If you bring your own phone, you get the SIM card free. Plus now, to just take it up a whole nother level for those we know going through Christmas, wanting to get some new phones for their family members, a free ZTE Origin, all with that if you get started before December 31st. The way that's going to work out is basically you're going to pay your new member is going to pay the $99 for the free ZTE Origin. So how does it become free if you pay the $99? Well, they're actually going to pay that back to you in the form there'll be a rebate. They're going to pay it back to you in the $20 a month going forward as you continue with Solovei. It's a very exciting thing for somebody who wants to be able to get that free phone. Of course, we're very excited also for those of you who don't need a phone just to get started. Free month of mobile service as well as that free SIM card. And, you know, the other thing that's going on right now that we haven't always mentioned, but I think is very exciting, is Gear for the New Year contest. Now, this is for people, the top 20 members who have the most enrollments every week are going to win special Solovei gift packs. And you can, of course, increase your chances of winning when you share that $99 ZTE Origin cell as well as the 'Tis the Season for free, which is how you get the free mobile service your first month. So that's very exciting. So if you guys like backpacks and T-shirts and all that good Solovei stuff, then definitely you want to get in on the Gear for the New Year contest. And it repeats every week. So just because somebody won it last week doesn't mean that they're going to win it again. It starts over every week. And so I encourage you guys, get in on the free stash. Again, you guys have heard me say it a million times. If the company's leaving something on the table, take it. Don't leave money on the table, and don't leave free gear on the table either. And then, of course, we've got our SIM pack, still very hot. I believe the number of percentage of SIM pack, people who are starting with the SIM pack, just right on the spot, getting a SIM and starting is already up to 40%. So that just shows a shift in the way that business is being done. People want to get started. For those of you who are doing things online or you're liking to send people to the website, that's great. But for those of you who want to carry those Sims right in your pocket, you can get 10 Sims for $20 or 20 Sims for $40. They come in packs of 10 or 20, and they're now available. So I encourage you, if you're going to go through these holidays, go ahead and get you those Sim packs. Get you at least a 10-pack in so that you can be showing people the card, showing them how easy it is to get started. So that's very exciting. Another thing I want to talk about, we talked about the 'Tis the Season for free, is if you go to the support community in your tab there, if you log in, you can just click on this. In fact, let me show you where it's at if I go over here. You go into your support community. It looks like this. Of course, you got the Soloway Scoop. We're going to go take a look at that in just a second. You just saw it here. I believe this is the Scoop. No, that's not the Scoop. Let's look at the Scoop. Let's look at the Scoop together. Y'all want to look at the Scoop? Let's look at the Scoop. Okay, this is what the Scoop looks like. Right here, this is a word from our, somebody's telling me to take that off. Y'all, you guys are so funny. You're always wanting to know what I have Googled last. Last week, what did I have on there last week? Something about Pink Piggy or something my daughter was playing in my Google. Okay, so that was a little hint of what's to come. So anyhow, this is our, you guys are hilarious, this is our Soloway Scoop, and you can see every week this is being posted. Now we're working into 2013. There's going to be some adjustments made. Very excited to be working with the member support team, the marketing team, and we're going to see some new things coming out in 2013 that are going to really begin to increase our communications in the company, how we communicate to the field, consistency of timing. You're going to start to see some really incredible improvements. I think you guys would all agree that putting 100,000 people in any network as quickly as we have, it's unprecedented, and with that comes some great learning curves. So we're very excited that you guys have been growing with us. Those of you who came through the first 2 weeks of Soloway, honestly, I think that the company should send all of us on a quiet vacation together just for making it through the first 2 weeks. I'm sure I can hear an amen on that. But truly, there is a definite breed of people who are called resilient, unstoppable, that are able to move through a pre-launch of a company, and I am so thrilled to see how incredible this company has been growing even over the last number of weeks. So this Soloway Scoop has become a very important communication to us that you can go in there each week and you can see, of course, you can go over here and see the archives, but you can go in each week, you can see what's going on, the tip of the week, you can see some important news. One of the things that's very important is now the Soloway has launched its 1K Club, and you can see that right there on Facebook page. You'll see the little 1K banner or tab, and you can click on that, and you can see who's already made the 1K Club. Of course, our vision is to create millions of people in that 1,000 club. That means you're making at least $1,000 or more every single month. And of course, you're going to be able to also see, this was a big deal right here, the Rank Achievement tab. We did a webinar on it a couple of weeks ago, and that's an important tutorial that you want to go through just so that you can see how to look in your back office. I'm like a turkey or a chicken. How to look in your back office and be able to see where your rank is, what you need to do in order to get to the next rank, what trios, how they're lining up for you, how the 40% rule affects you, all of those things. Now, here's something I want to bring light to that we haven't done so far. I have with my group, we've got an event coming up in January, and I've been telling them it's so important for you to know how to write your story, how to tell your story, and then how to share it with others. Now, if you haven't noticed, Soloway is inviting you to share your story, and I think very soon there's going to begin to be posting of these stories. If you want people to know your story, it's important for you to get your story out. And I encourage you, I mean, people are always surfing the web, looking for names, trying to figure out who are they going to align with. And I encourage you, create your story. They've given you a testimonial page there. You can click right there in the Soloway Scoop. You can click on that link right there and begin to tell your testimony, tell your story. The way you want to do that is you want to create a video. Now, I encourage you also, go ahead and write it out, type it out. Get yourself a good paragraph so that you practice, but then 2 minutes or less, get yourself in a well-lit, authentic atmosphere. You know, it's okay to sit in a chair up against a wall. That's okay. But, man, why don't you find a place where Maybe you've got some good colors and good backgrounds. I've seen people sit in front of green wallpaper, and honestly, you look green. Think about what you're doing and let yourself, this is you representing your brand. First, you're representing your brand to Solivay, and then you're representing your brand to the world. So I want to encourage you all, keep it to 2 minutes or less. Remember, this isn't a promotional video other than the fact that you're going to talk about what does Solivay mean to you. A great way to start it out might be, and this is just a little tip, is for me and my family, Solivay means, and say what it is. And so let me give you a little example. You might say, and I'm going to give you a hypothetical example, as if I was a mom with 4 kids, and I would say, to me, Solivay means connection. You know, I've got 4 kids, and those 4 kids are all over the age of 13, and so cell phones are our way of staying connected. We were spending about $300 a month, every single month, on those phones, and now the older they get, the more data they're starting to use, and those data plans have been driving our bill through the roof. With Solivay, we've been able to save over $150 a month just on those phones, and it has truly made a difference in our family, not to mention the fact that now each one of my kids, they don't have to do a paper route. Instead, they've all taken up Solivay, and they're sharing it at their schools with their friends. And to us, Solivay is connection, Solivay is relationships, and for us, Solivay is a future for my kids and for our family. Thank you, Solivay. So that was totally off the cuff. I don't really have 4 kids. But that's just an example. We want authentic, real, transparent. Maybe you lost a job, and with Solivay, this is your way back. This is your bouncing back, being resilient, and you're giving it one more try to, you know, kind of make your mark in the world. Maybe Solivay is diapers to you. What we're not looking for is, yo, baby, man, my name is Jack Hat, and I'm wanting to let you know that Solivay is making me the big thing, baby, and I want $20,000 a month, baby. I'm dialing for dollars. That's what I'm doing. I'm dialing for dollars, baby. So I'm telling you right now, you want to sign up with me, Joe Jack Black, Solivay.com, Joe Jack Black. All right. So that's what we don't want. And I just freaked out all the people in the offices outside of me. So you guys know we want authentic. We want to hear your story. Okay, so you guys are hilarious. No, that's not a bad thing. Worship God, don't worship Stacy. Somebody left a joke in our chat box there. That's awesome. Okay, so there you should go. I know the company really wants these. They've come to such great length to show you exactly how to record a video, how to create the video. You should have no problems there. So looking forward to seeing those, and certainly once you do, I think that you're going to begin to see that getting your word out, it helps. Part of being an incredible entrepreneur is knowing how to brand yourself. Tonight I'm going to talk about some things that are important for you to set some strategic goals moving forward so that as you brand yourself that you can begin to see monumental impact in every area of your life. Okay, so that is the Solivay Scoop, and I hope that that helps you guys out. Let's just go back here. That's what's hot. That's the happenings of this week. I know there's been a lot of things taking place. There's some things coming up actually this week. I know that Rudy and Maria, my other comrades, other frontline leaders tonight, we did a call this afternoon. I said, so who's going to be on the call with me tonight? And I heard crickets. That was my version of a cricket. And so tonight it's you and me, baby. We are going to do this together, and I've got some a really incredible training that we're going to do here in a few minutes. But I do know one of the things that Maria and Rudy and the incredible member support team are working on is tomorrow. I believe they're pushing it hard through the night, trying to get a new tutorial out that I think is probably one of the best tutorials we've ever had, a tutorial on how to read your earnings statement, how to understand trios, what is a qualified trio, all of those things. It's a really, really important tutorial. And basically the way these tutorials are being created is that they're being created based on need. And it's, you know, when they get 1,000 calls or 1,500 calls on a single day, there's generally a commonality in those calls, and the best way to answer it is to put out these tutorials. So you'll see right over here in the support tab the compensation plan tutorial. You'll see the Solivay overview tutorial. You'll see the iPhone tutorial. If you haven't watched that one, then you need to. The SimPack tutorial. And we're getting ready to have a really nice system that's going to have all of these things in one spot and everything Solovay. So stay tuned for that. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to pop up back over here into PowerPoint, and we're going to go through something I am very passionate about and that I've been going through with my team over the last number of days. I've been going one-on-one with my team leaders and their teams, giving them an opportunity to rally their team together so that we can do a final shot in the arm for 2012 as we head into 2013. And some of the things that we're talking about, we're going ahead and going into people's back offices, looking at their numbers, using them as example for the rest of the people on the calls. And basically, this is why I'm saying this to you, because I want you to do this with your teams. It's very important, you know, in any business, technically, especially in direct sales. This is, on average, the season where most companies take a dip, and because people get very busy with the holidays, with celebrations, travel, shopping, parties, and you know, I have always been one who I personally have fallen into those percentages of people. This year, my family has opted to do something a little different. We opted to stay home this year. We opted that we weren't going to do a ton of parties, and we weren't going to hang out at a bunch of parties, but we were going to work with people in our relationships and help them finish strong. I just have a real heart to see, I'm overjoyed to see how many people are achieving that $1,000, $1,500 a month, and it's bringing the humility and the gratitude that's pouring in from these people is making us just so overjoyed as a family to know that we are here right now able to make a difference. But one of the things I know is the average person, I think you guys know the statistics, is less than 2% of people are actually going to truly break through using anything more than 3 to 5% of their potential. The average, that's what the average person is going to use. But there is that small 2%. I really believe it's 1% that break through and they say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and not complain that we're too tired. We're not going to complain that there's just too much going on. I'm like everyone else. I got to tell you, tonight I didn't know how I was going to pull off a call or webinar for you guys. These are the nights, Monday nights and Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. The 3 nights I do webinars are the nights my boy has basketball. And tonight he won their basketball game, but we were hustling and shucking and driving, jiving and driving, a little too fast actually, to get back to do these for you guys, to be faithful to these, to make sure that we do what we need to do in order to support the people. And so I just want you to know that is a quality that you want to have for your teams. If you say you're going to be somewhere, be there. Be consistent. If somebody were to say, what is one of the, there's many things I would say is the secret to our success, but and primarily I'd always give glory to God, but I would say one of the qualities that is very important in any team is consistency. There was a gal named Gracie Updike that is a part of the network and just a phenomenal trainer. She is trains incredible athletes, trained Ryan, our CEO, for a while and got him to truly break through running marathons, and just an incredible athlete. And you know, I had her speak at one of our women's events. We had a nonprofit organization for women, and she spoke, and I think the most, I don't remember anything she said except one thing she said over and over and over again. She ended her whole speech with, the number one most important thing that you can do as an athlete is consistency. The number 2 thing you can do as an athlete is consistency. And the number 3 thing you need to do as an athlete is consistency. And that has just stuck with me for so long. And so tonight we're going to talk about goal setting, and we're also going to talk about how important it is for you to take these goals and show yourself consistent to your team. Show up, be there, do what you're asking them to do. Don't go tell them to go get a trio if you haven't gotten one yourself. You know, don't be a world manager, be a world leader. Lead by example. So let's just look real quick here. 2013 SMART goals. Let's break that down real quick. I love this little picture. Number 1, S is specific. You want to have specific goals. You want to not just randomly shoot, I want to be more successful this year than last year. Well, that is random. That is not specific. Maybe to you that is specific. But I want to help you tonight. I want to help you get more specific with your goals, and I believe that the more specific you can become, the more you will feel the win along the way. So what I'm going to talk to you about, and one of the things that we've got that's brilliant with the company is called the Member Action Plan, or the Massive Action Plan, which helps you write specific and measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals that you can actually not only do yourself, but you can also have your team duplicate. So a specific goal, for example, would be instead of saying, I want to lose weight this year. But that is not specific. You need to say, well, how much weight do you want to lose? You need to measure your starting point, so where are you at? So maybe you're at 165 pounds and you want to be down to 145 pounds. So you want to say, okay, that's basically 25 pounds that I want to lose this year. Well, 25, if you look at 12 months, that would be approximately 2 pounds a month. That's measurable and it's attainable. So if you looked at that and said, you know what, I've been saying for years I'm going to lose this weight, but if I just took the year to do it, when I end up in December this year, I will either end up saying I wish I had or I'm glad I did. And if I have those measurable results where I say it's only, you know, I can't eat it all at one time, I'm not going to eat the elephant all at one time, but 2 pounds a month, I can do that. And then all of a sudden you begin to celebrate when you reach those specific measurable and attainable goals. So let's take a look at how that would look as it results to Solivay. A specific goal, for example, and one of the things we've been talking in these private conference calls and webinars I've been doing is a specific goal would be, okay, well, so I'm at Social Partner 3, and I want to be a Social Connector 3, meaning I want to jump all the way up and I want to be making $1,000 a month. Well, specific would be I want to be a Social Connector 3 making $1,000 a month by, and maybe you say March. Now you want to look and you want to make them measurable. Now what does that mean? Now some of these things here is I'm gonna break the mold in just a minute when we get to the A, because you guys know I'm a little bit of a princess warrior, that I'm going to never let you be comfortable. Measurable would mean that it's important for you to remember where you're starting from. If you're starting from Social Partner 3 and you're currently running 20% overspending a month on your family, so in other words, you're overspending by $20 a month and it's driving you more and more into debt. That is the average household. So being specific would be, number one, an extra $1,000 a month would help my family. Number two, measurable means that where we're at right now, we're going to have to make some sacrifices. We're going to measure the sacrifices. In fact, there's a scripture that says, count the cost before waging war. Anytime you want to make adjustments in life, whether it's a 90-day weight loss program or 90 days to become in the 1,000 club, or whether it's 90 days to resurrect your love life, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you are measuring, you're identifying where you're at. Look at yourself. So here's what I want you to do. Number one, you can say very easily, here's where I want to be in the next, let's look in the next 90 days. So let's say January, February, March, okay? So let's kind of chunk this at March. Now, I also want you to have some big, hairy, audacious goals we'll talk about in just a minute. But let's just say by March, where do you want to be by March? Now, you want to look at where you're at. So between now and March, you're going to end up in March one way or the other. Like I said, you'll either say, I'm glad I did, or I wish I had. But let's just say right now, before we break the end of 2012, let's take a real quick look, and let's look back. Now, I'm going to do some of this very specifically in our, we're doing a leadership summit in January, and these guys are going to get hands-on breaking this stuff down. But this is something we can do tonight on this call to get you set up as you go into Christmas. So I want you to think back right now, everybody that's on the call, think back over 2012. And I want you, number one, I want you to think of, what did I love about 2012? And go ahead and write that down if you've got pen and paper. Write down something that you absolutely loved. Maybe you did it and you would love to do it again, or just something that really brought you fulfillment. Number two, I want you to write out, what could you do better in 2013 than you did in 2012? In other words, what area of personal growth do you need to work on? Number three, I want you to write down, what do you never want to do again? What do you never want to repeat? Maybe you had a bad relationship. You're like, I am never doing that again. Maybe it was that you had a bad business investment. Think about that, something that you want to leave behind, because it's very important not only to measure where you're going, but it's also important to measure what do you need to leave behind. What do you need to drop off? What do you need to prune from your life in order to make the leap? So this is where the measurable goals is where you've got to count the cost. What is it going to cost you? Now, for me personally, I wanted in 3 months, I wanted by the end of the year, my goal was I want to scale the compensation plan. And I realized that in order to do that, that was a huge feat, but I knew that I would have to take out all-out massive action. So it was very specific. I knew exactly I would have to be focused on enrolling a trio a week, and I couldn't stop. Now I'm well over 100 people that I've personally enrolled, and I'm not stopping because I got very, very, very specific, attainable, relevant, time-bound goals. But also in that, I had to count the cost. I had to sit down with my family, I had to sit down with my kids and say, you know, there's going to be times I'm going to be at your game, but I'm going to have to hustle away from your game in order to get to these calls. I'm going to sit down with the family and say, can we do X, Y, Z for the next 6 months in order to get over here this new ABC? And that is counting the cost, because, folks, if you really, truly, truly want to do what you've never done, you're going to have to be willing to plan for what you've never planned for before. You're going to have to begin to make some changes. You're going to have to make some adjustments. You've heard me over these last number of calls talk about the law of frequency. Please do not keep doing what you've been doing if it's not working. When I get off these webinars and I see people, Stacy, I've talked to 62 people, or I sent out 300 emails. If that's not working for you, stop. Adjust your frequency like a radio channel and make adjustments to what you're doing so that you can have higher results, so that your conversion rate can get higher. I didn't get at a high conversion rate that I've got right now, massive conversion rate that I've got right now on my first try. I did it because I've enrolled over 100 people. And with that comes some tweaking and adjusting, and you want to make sure that you're doing that as well. Never take no personally. Never stop just because you get rejection. In fact, I have to tell you, I have a little bit of, and I mentioned it on the post on Facebook tonight, that we were going to talk about a very important lesson from an internet marketer. One of the top internet marketers that is just brilliant. Actually, I thought of hiring them personally, bringing them on. And then again, I heard it this week from another internet marketer that has been involved in direct sales for many, many years. We were talking about a system that's going to be coming out that I'm partnering with Solivay, a number of leaders, and we're going to be releasing it in January, probably the beginning of January, that you're going to be able to see some incredible free tools. You're going to be able to see what's been working for us. You're going to be able to see some of the autoresponders and scripts. Every single webinar I do, I hear, Stacy, what are the scripts? To be honest with you, I haven't wanted to give out anything that's not proven. And to come out with, hey, this is the #1, biggest, baddest, best system, I just, in my authenticity, want to make sure that I can look you in the eye and know it's worked for me, and I can say it'll work for you if you just do it over and over and over again. Well, this leader, I was sharing with them about, and they have not really engaged in Solivay yet, and they said, you know, we were watching it for a little while, and I just wanted to kind of see what happens in pre-launch and in these first couple months, but it really looks like you guys got your act together and got a lot of stuff going for you, and I want to talk about launching a plan for 2013. What do you have going on? So start talking about kind of what we're rolling out, and he said, let me tell you something that was just recently said by somebody named Eric Worley, who I happen to have done business many, many years ago with, who's become an incredible consultant in this industry. He actually came out with a formal apology and said, I want to apologize to everyone for the many years, these last number of years, where I've told you that systems will make it easier for you. Get involved in my system and let it be easier for you. We're going to take the guesswork out for you. And he issued a formal apology saying, I don't ever want to teach you to find a way that makes it easier. I want to teach you, and this is what this particular gentleman said. He said, Stacy, let's teach them how to get their nose bloodied and get back up. Let's teach them to be resilient. Let's teach them how to take a no and not stop. Let's teach them how to truly be resilient instead of always looking for the easy way out or how can I find something to do it for me. Well, I think we're going to have both, and you guys are going to see that. It's going to be incredible. But with all of that said, you want to make sure that as you launch into 2013, you need to find your own warrior. You need to find out inside of you, what is it that I could do, that I'm absolutely passionate about, that I love, that I would be willing to get up and fight for, work day and night for, go bloody knuckles for, do everything, go to the point where I'm exhausted for, absolutely to the point where I'm not going to give up, shut up, or let up until the good Lord takes me up on it, where I'm going to go out like a Joan of Arc, flames of glory, because I'm so passionate about what I'm dedicated to. When you find that resolve inside of you, you begin to realize fear has no play in your mindset. You're not afraid of what people think. You're not afraid of what people are going to say to you. You're not even afraid of loss. You just know it's just a matter of time. I just got to keep consistent and keep plugging away. So you want to be specific. You want to be measurable and count the costs. Now here's where we're going to break the mold. You want something that's attainable, but you also want something that is freakishly impossible. So I want you to imagine that A is AI. I want you to be AI. I want you to be attainable and impossible. If you are not dreaming impossible dreams, then you're not dreaming big enough. I want you to have some dreams. You know, when I was 18, 19 years old, my father, who's since passed away, he said to me, Stacy, what are your goals this year? Every year we would write out our goals. And he wanted me to know what my goals were. He wanted to know what my goals were, and I would tell him. And he said, but what's impossible on this list? Everything you've given me here is possible. I mean, like it's been done before. And I remember that year I said, I want to sing for the President of the United States. And he said, okay, write it down. You want to sing for the President of the United States. And I remember I was early. That in 18, I wanted to sing for the Olympics, and he told me to write that out, and of course that came to pass. But this was now in my 20s, and I wanted to sing for the President of the United States. I didn't know anybody famous. I didn't know anything. I didn't know a president. I didn't even know how to get to the White House, let alone sing for the White House. But I wrote it down because I believe there's power in the spoken word, and there's power in what you choose to believe. You know, there's an incredible book called The Secret that just talks to you about the law of attraction, that if you can truly believe it, of course, I also believe in Scripture that says, whatsoever a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you can truly believe, you could be on that stage. I told my son tonight, he was missing a few layups. I said, baby, you got to see the ball going in the hole. You've got to envision the end result, and you got to see it. You got to see it. Next time he got up to the free throw line, he missed the free throw. I said, next time I want you to see that ball like a rainbow going right into the hole. Sure enough, boom, he steps up to the plate and he makes the shot. It's the same thing for us. We've got to begin to have attainable goals that we can see. And then we've got to have some impossible goals that we choose to see. So that year I had set out that I wanted to sing for the president, and lo and behold, someone got one of my singing CDs, handed it to a friend that handed it to a friend that knew somebody that was in Washington that worked at the White House. And I got a phone call one day from somebody that said, you know, it was Hillary Clinton at the time. They said, Hillary Clinton would like you to sing at her First Lady's Tea. And it wasn't exactly the president, but it was close. And I thought, absolutely, oh my goodness, this is a dream come true. And so they said, well, we'll get back to you exactly what the exact time and date is. Well, when they called me back, it just so happened that I had just been scheduled to be on a mission trip in Africa. And everything inside of me wanted to cancel the mission trip so this dream could come true. But inside of my heart, my integrity said, wait a minute, this isn't right. I've made a commitment where I'm going to be, and even though it's the opportunity to get close to the president, I am going to decline this because I've made a commitment. I made the commitment to say no, and they were a little shocked, but I told them, please, if there's ever another time, let me know. And ended up going to Africa and having an amazing mission trip. What was amazing was 2 weeks after that, I got a phone call, and they said, well, we still want you to come back, and we'd like you to sing at the inaugural prayer breakfast. And, you know, these are the times in life where you've got to begin to believe in the impossible. If everybody's ever told you you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too white, you're too black, you're too stupid, you'll never amount to anything, you have got to come to a place of resiliency where you say, I don't care what anybody says. I am unstoppable. I am not going to give up on what I believe is possible. And when you do that, everything becomes attainable. So that's why that started AI. It might be an impossible thing for others, but it can become attainable when you truly, truly believe. And R is relevant. You want it to be relevant for you and your family. You know, it may not be your goal to do what I do. You may not have any desire to work as hard as I work and to do the things that I do. And so it needs to be relevant to you. Don't try to be like someone else. Be you. You will never be anything but a second-rate copycat if you try to be like someone else. But you can thrive and do incredible things if you embrace your unique greatness. You know, I think of a song I wrote called Cinderella. You guys can go check it out online, but it's called Cinderella, Dream Come True, and it talks about having dreams. You know, here's what I know some of you guys, we got 60% guys on these calls, so just got to tell you, y'all going to have to hang on with me for a little Cinderella story. Just put on your little girl hat for just a second. Not really. Anyhow, so I wrote a song called Cinderella, Dream Come True that was basically about setting goals and believing in the impossible. And of course, I don't believe in a fairy godmother, but I believe in a God in whom all things are possible. I don't certainly think that there's a prince that's going to come get you, but I believe in a Prince of Peace that can take you through storms of life and help you see bigger pictures. And so in this process, of course, there's the story part of the glass slipper. And that's the part that's the most incredible to me, because all those other girls were trying to be Cinderella. They were trying to get in her shoes, but they never could, because those shoes were created for Cinderella. And there are a set of shoes that were created just for you. There's a destiny and a purpose, a plan. You may not be like the next guy. You may try to figure out, why can't I do that? Well, maybe you weren't created to. Maybe you've got to figure it out your way and do it your way. And that's what I want you to be relevant. Be in your own greatness. And then, of course, time-bound. Make sure that you're setting clear time goals. That if we say we want to have an extra $1,000 a month by March, then just remember, you've got to remember some specific things. If you want to be paid March 15th, then you've got to achieve it by February 15th, right? Because we've got a 30-day maturation on those trios. You want to make sure that when you look at your time-bound goals, that you're considering all the details in order to get there. Okay, let's just take a look at a couple of areas that you want to write goals out. I want you guys to think about these areas: your attitude, career, your education, family, finances, your physical body, things that bring you pleasure and peace, public service or philanthropy, and of course your faith. I want you to take each one of those areas, and before you launch into 2013, find some quiet time and put at least 3 bullet points under each one of those areas. How do you want to improve in your career? Well, maybe it's that you want to go from social partner 3 to social connector 3. That would be an improvement in your career. Maybe you want to host your first webinar. That would be an improvement in your career. Maybe you want to help 3 people become part of that 1,000 club, that 1K club. That would be an improvement in your career. Think about the things that you could do. 3 bullet points. Education. Maybe you want to go ahead and learn Spanish now that you know that we're having such an influx of Spanish-speaking people in our network. Maybe you're wanting to go back and get your GED. Whatever it is, think of 3 things. Maybe you're just wanting to learn more about a specific topic. Whatever it is, your family, physical, your faith. Go through each one of those and write out 3 bullet points that you can improve on going into 2013. So here's what it's going to look like. You're going to, in each one of those, you're going to set a goal. Now, you're going to have 3 bullet points under each one of those topics, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to set a goal, create a plan on how you do it. So let's go back. Let's say we're looking right here at physical. And 3 things: you want to lose 25 pounds in the next year, you want to get in shape, and you want to firm up your tushy. Oh, that's a little personal there, I'm saying. Okay, so let's say you're going to set a goal. You got the goal set. You got all 3 of the goals set. Then you got to have a plan. Well, hello, the tushy's not going to get hard by itself. You need to either have some stairs or a gym or you need to do some squats. You need to have a plan on how it's going to take place. Same with the weight loss. Maybe you need to start studying a little bit more about lowering down the cholesterol, laying down the butter and the oils, and make a plan for how you're going to change your nutrition. Maybe it's you don't eat out as much. Then you're going to get to work every single day. Finish your day knowing you did better than the day before. When you lay your head down on the pillow, say, did I do everything I need? You need to have those goals posted so you can look at them. Let them speak to you every day. And what they're going to say is, did you think of me? Did you work for me? Did you partner with me and do what you need to do to help me become a reality? Think if every one of those goals had a voice. What would you do in order to help them reach success? And then, just like Gracie said, consistency, consistency, consistency. Stick to it. Don't give up. No matter how many times life knocks you down, every time it knocks you down, you be like one of those palm trees in a hurricane. Bend and don't break. Bounce back up. And the force of the storms against you in life, they will either make you bitter or they'll make you better. And if you right now, we're going to be coming out with some really great resources and helping you read through circumstances. You know, for some people personally, the number one motivator, encourager to me, and I know there's lots of people with different faith, but for me personally, my Bible is my best friend. Better than my husband, better than my kids, better than Ryan, better than anybody is when I truly need encouragement. I go to the scriptures and I let them speak to me hope and life. You've got to have something that helps you stick to it because you will want to quit. I've never known a leader that doesn't have their moments when they just want to throw in the towel. But when your face is laying down on the mat, you got to hear a voice that says, it's not over till I win. When I wrote that song, I wrote a song called It's Not Over Till I Win. I wrote it because my brother and I, we used to play basketball. And I was skinny, scrawny, and I was tiny, and he was 2 years older than me, and he was always beating me. And every time we'd go out, I'd say to him, no, let's play one more time. It's not over till I win. It's not over till I win. And there was just this incredible competitive drive that I just didn't want to quit until I could get a win under my belt. And you've got to have that stick-to-it bulldog tenacity that you don't let go until you absolutely know you've achieved that goal, which is that final one. Reach the goal. So I just encourage you guys tonight, make sure that you're pressing forward. Here's a few things you want to avoid. Don't make goals so big. Now this is where I'm going to say, when I say too big, what I mean is don't make a goal that you're going to say, well, in the next 3 months, I want to be a social executive. And I'm going to say to you, let's do it. But don't set a goal that big if you're not going to be willing to, number one, let's go back up here, count the cost. If you're going to set out a goal like that, awesome. I'm right there with you. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. But let's count the cost. If you know that you're going to be out of town 3 weeks out of that time period, if you know that your kids are getting ready to go into the busiest athletic season of their lives, if you know that there's certain circumstances financially that you're going to have to deal with in that time, you want to make sure that you set your goals in such a way that you can have success along the way. Now, you might just say it's only big because of the time frame, so you stretch it out a little bit. I always say this. I love this. I learned this from a guy in another company. He said, take 1 year to learn, 1 year to earn, 3 to 5 to build you a sustainable long-term business. If you guys can think about that, 1 year to learn. Think about what we're going to be able to say after 12 months in Solivay. 1 year to earn. Begin to really crank down and increase your financial numbers. And then 3 to 5 to continue to solidify what could be a life-changing retirement or financial plan for you and your family. Too many goals. And that's why I like to say take this list right here, put 3 bullet points under each. And maybe you take colored Post-it notes like that and you have them sitting there. Don't have so many that you just can't keep up with them, because otherwise you get distracted and you get frustrated. Be very specific. And if you don't write them down, in fact, it was Dartmouth that did the plan. I'm sure you guys have heard the statistics. It was in one of my books that I wrote that said Dartmouth did a study on graduates that those who wrote goals, they had some that wrote goals, and then they had others that did not write goals. And those that wrote goals outperformed those who did not write their goals combined, meaning financially, in their overall investment packages, outperformed all of them combined. And so this is very important in writing goals. Why is that important? Because it allows you to do a couple of different sensory things. Number one, you think it. Number two, you say it. Number three, you write it, you fix it, and then you can look at it. So that's very important, and of course, to be specific. So here's what I want to say about just kind of closing out here is I want you guys to think of some big, hairy, audacious goals. We're getting ready to launch into 2013, and I'm going to be launching our theme song of the year. And we're going to run with that song. We're going to, every time I hear it, I cry. Every time I see the video on it, I just well up with tears because I believe that not only are we very right-brain, analytical human beings, but every single one of us, we have an emotional part to us that if we don't trigger it, people without vision will perish. And I believe what you're getting ready to see, there's a roadmap that's going to be laid out to you coming up in January. You're going to see exactly what's going to be happening with Solevay and how you can begin to set specific targets to get there. But I want you to have a few, oh my goodness, I think I'll walk on the moon kind of goals. Big, hairy, audacious goals. There's a book, and I'd encourage all of you to read it. In fact, in other businesses that I've had, any person that came, that I hired or that came on with us, it was required reading, and it was called Good to Great by Jim Collins. Good to Great by Jim Collins. If you haven't read it, or even if you have, I double dog dare you to read it again before 2013 because it is an incredible book that helps you understand the power of writing goals, being a level 5 leader, knowing how to take, the whole premise behind that book is there's a lot of companies that can, they make a run for 5 to 7 years. And those are good companies. But a great company is the company that can make it past 35 years. Solevay is being built on those premises of good to great principles. And you'll see it even as you read it. You'll see that used to be a book that Ryan, many of you guys know he's my brother, and so I've watched him raise up many, many, many leaders, many companies. And that is a book that in one company named Motricity that he had every single one of the employees purchase as well. Read it. It was part of the required reading. And I just know the way he thinks is he wants to raise up leaders right now, not just help people make money. But if instead of us making things too simple that you just coast in life, we do want to teach you how to be resilient, how to be unstoppable. Well, there's something inside of that book about big, hairy, audacious goals. And it talks about the flywheel, and it talks about your differentiator. 3 things I want you to consider before we sign off here. And this is very important, and as you read that book, you'll see, again, it's called Good to Great by Jim Collins. What are you deeply passionate about? As a life coach, I've spent a lot of time going one-on-one with people who make millions and millions of dollars. And part of the resiliency that I have is that I just know whether I've been with 5 presidents, I've been with multiple CEOs, executives, millionaires. What I know is we all put on our pants one leg at a time. We all go to bed at night with our own conscience. We all have to figure out how to manage life and children and families and spouses. But every time I sit down, the first question when they would hire me, I would say to them, I want to know, what are you most passionate about? And I would say 9 times out of 10 when I ask that question, it cannot be answered. Because people have gotten involved in a rat race of mundane. They're doing the deal every single day, but they've lost the passion for why they're doing it. And I want to challenge you right now. What are you passionate? You've got one chance at this life. You've got one chance to be absolutely stellar and leave a ripple effect on this earth. Your life is like a thumbprint. It is unique to you, and it will leave a unique imprint on this world if you let it. What are you deeply passionate about? What is it that you will get up early for, go to bed late for? What is it that you'll go ahead and get some bloody knuckles for? What is it that you're okay if the whole world thinks you're crazy for, but you still know that that it's worth the fight? A lot of people, that's a tough question to ask or to answer. And I want you to think about, what are you deeply passionate about? Because that will be your core driver. Are you passionate about your family? Are you willing to wake up early and work for them hard? Are you willing to go to bed late at night? Are you willing to go bloody knuckle for them? Because if that is your driver, then you need to keep them at the forefront of your mind and say, this is what I'm doing it for. What are you deeply passionate about? Number 2, what drives your economic engine? You've got to know, what is it that stimulates your economic engine. If it's a job, then it's hours for dollars. You're trading hours for dollars. I put in 5 hours, I get X amount of salary. If it is Solevay, for example, you've got to know what drives the economic engine. Hello, it's trios, right? So X trios would be X times how many? X equals what? So you've got to know, what is your economic engine. Well, in Solevay, it's our trios. So if you know that trios equate to dollars, then what do you need more of? You need more trios. How do you get more trios? Do you get more trios by telling other people with a megaphone, hey guys, go get them, go do this, I'm going to tell you what to do, and just do it? Or do you get more trios by saying, guys, follow me, I'm going to go find 3 trios? And along the way, see if you can find some too. What drives your economic engine? Then number 3, what can you be best in the world at? What can you be number 1 at? When I asked myself that question, you know, there were people a few years ago when I was on the speaking tour and traveling, and I'd hear people say, man, Stacey, nobody sings like you. And I knew that that wasn't true. I mean, there's so many amazing singers. You look at all the singers in the world today, just phenomenal vocals. So I knew I wasn't best in the world. I don't know if there ever was a best in the world. And some people would say, well, you're the best motivational speaker I've ever heard. I've heard Tony Robbins, and he's pretty dadgum good. And I sat under the tutelage of Zig Ziglar, and he was phenomenal. So I couldn't say I was best in the world at that either. But I'll tell you one thing, I am number 1 in the world at, and no one will ever be better than me in the world. I am the number 1 wife to Larry Wallace. I am the number 1 mom to Peyton and Alexia. And if my passions and my economic engine do not support what I'm number 1 at, then I'm failing. And I want to encourage you guys tonight, as you think about your goals going into 2013, what can you be number 1 in the world at? Who's counting on you? And when you begin to talk about your passion and your energy and your goals and how you're going to press through and what the measurable results are going to be, I want you to remember those core values of what drives you. What matters most to you? And then be resilient. Be unstoppable. Be willing to take all-out massive action and do everything necessary to paint your canvas. I want you to think about 2013, that God has given you a brand new white canvas, and you get to paint the picture. Imagine you're given a full palette of colors. Everything else has been removed, and you're being given a second chance. Maybe it's a 50th chance for some of you. But I want you to think about going into 2013. Whatever you have to do in these last couple of weeks to get that slate clean, maybe you need to go to some people and say, I'm sorry. You need to get that off your heart. You need to ask for forgiveness for some things. Maybe you've just totally screwed up some things in your life. And you know what? You need to let go. The hardest area of forgiveness is forgiving yourself. But 2013 is too big of a year. Solevay is too great of an opportunity for you to walk into 2013 with chains or weight that have bound you for most of your life. I double dog dare you to make 2013 a year of absolute freedom. Begin to write out goals. Begin to do things differently. And then I want you to begin to see yourself as the achiever that you want to be. I want you to speak to yourself. I want you to say, you know what? Dadgummit, God was in a good mood when he made me. Instead of some of the things you've been saying when you look in the mirror. I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm whatever. I want you to start changing your words and putting into your psychology the greatness that really does exist in you. I know this has been a little different tonight, and I'm really thankful that tonight I got to have this really intimate time, because I believe in you guys. I believe that beyond SIM cards and cell phones and mobile service, we are creating a revolution that begins with people. And I care about you more than I do whether or not you activate. I really do. And I